Hello and welcome to Wordplay Wednesday, where we play with some of the words from the last week's Saturday Story episode. Last week was The Thief of Time by Captain S.P. Meek, and it's an old science fiction story which is kind of fun. It's got a mystery twist to it. Hope you've had a chance to listen to it, or perhaps you've even read it. If you have not, I encourage you, go to Saturday Stories, listen to the episode, and then you'll be able to find some more interesting words in there. But today we're going to look at 3 words from this story to see how does the author use them in the story and where can we use them in our daily life. Let's get started. Our first word, and you can get a copy of this close reading guide. You use it as a listening guide, as a reading guide. It will help you take the story farther. There are some comprehension questions to see how well you're listening. And then we come to these chocolate words, these words that paint a picture in our mind and make the writing more interesting and engaging. The first word we're going to look at is differentially. Differentially. And when we see it here, let me go like this. Differentially, a way of behaving that shows respect for someone or something. So we're going to see how the author uses this word in the story. Let's go to the story and see where it's used. I will come and put that in there. And let's see. All right. So in the story, there are some bills that have been taken. They were swiped right under the teller's watchful eye. Well, he turned for a minute, turned back, the bills were gone. So now they're investigating this theft and they're going, what is happening? Then there's this guy named Carnes. And we'll start out that paragraph. As the cashier hurried away to his telephone, so they're going to call the police and get some help on the way, Carnes turned to his companion, who had stood an interested, although silent spectator of the scene. So Carnes has this guy, and nobody really knows who he is. And then we find out that it's Dr. Bird. So here we go. Do you, and I'll highlight on my screen here. Do you agree with my advice, Dr. Bird? Said Carnes deferentially. So when we're using that word here, a way of behaving that shows respect for someone or something, he is giving Dr. Bird that differential treatment. He's showing respect by referring back to him. So how would we use this in our daily life? He decided not to get a tattoo in deference to his mother. So he figured his mother mute. Not sure why it was muted. Hopefully the whole thing wasn't muted. That would be terrible. All right. So we have this word deferential. And like I said, in the story, Carnes is showing this deferential treatment to Dr. Bird. He's treating him with respect. Our next word that we're going to look at, we're going to go back up here to our chocolate words. We have bewildered. Perhaps you were bewildered when all of a sudden there was no sound in this video and I looked at my screen and it said check your audio. So here we go, bewildered. to confuse someone very much. All right. So remember, in this story, there was a theft that took place. And here we have a cashier who is bewildered. But someone must have taken it, said the bewildered cashier. Money doesn't walk off on its own accord or vanish into thin air. So you can see how he was bewildered. How would we use this in our daily life? Here we go. Bewildered, to confuse someone very much. I was completely bewildered by the complex instructions. Have you ever got a new something that came that you had to assemble, something from IKEA, or perhaps a bike that you had to assemble, or anything that you had to assemble, and it comes with an instruction booklet? Perhaps you were bewildered, confused, very much confused by the instructions. That is a way that we can use this word. All right, let's see what else we have in this story, A Thief of Time by Captain S.P. Meeks. Jovially, what does that mean? And how did we keep getting full of happiness and joy? Here we go. Full of happiness and joy. So let's see in the story where they are full of happiness and joy. And I made the change here, and whoops. Full of happiness and joy. Perhaps you have experienced this, where you have been full of happiness and joy. And let's see in the story where this happens. Here we go. So they are trying to figure out what's going on. Carnes and the doctor, remember Dr. Bird? They are trying to solve this mystery. It says, a huge Martin bomber roared down to the landing at the Maywood Airdrome, and a burly figure descended from the rear cockpit and waved his hand jovially at the waiting Carnes. So somebody is coming and they're happy to see you. They are jovially waving. The Secret Service man hastened over to greet his colleague. So that's how it's used in the story. And where can we use it in real life? The audience was in a jovial mood. They were in a happy mood, full of this joy and happiness. So there we have it, 3 words from, here we go, A Thief of Time by Captain S.P. Meeks. Deferentially, a way of behaving that shows respect for someone or something. Bewildered, to confuse someone very much, and jovially, full of this happiness and joy. I hope you're able to use those words in your writing, in your speaking, and when you hear these words, you'll know what they mean. And until next time, keep reading and writing.